Across the ancient Americas, identity wasn't something static. It was something fluid, sacred, and alive. Through masks and face paint, ancient peoples could become gods, animals, ancestors, or spirits. These transformations weren't theatrical, they were spiritual. In a world where everything had spirit, trees, animals, rivers, even the stars, masks and paint were bridges between worlds. Welcome to Untold Secrets of Ancient America. Today, we peel back the painted skin of ancient societies to reveal the mysteries behind the masks, pigments, and patterns that shaped identity across continents. From the shamanic rituals of the Arctic, to the celestial masks of the Maya, to the war paint of the Mississippian warriors, we dive into how face and form became sacred tools of becoming. This is not just about costume, it's about transformation. This is not decoration, it's a declaration. Let's begin. To wear a mask in ancient America was to alter reality. Among the Kwakwaka'wakw peoples of the Pacific Northwest, masks were part of the winter ceremonials, sacred rituals where dancers embodied supernatural beings. Some masks could open and close, revealing a second face within, a visual expression of spiritual transformation. The outer face represented the human world, the inner face, the true spirit within. These were used in secret societies. Only certain initiates could perform with them, and doing so without permission was a spiritual violation. The Olmecs, often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica, created mysterious jade masks with soft, almost infant-like faces. Some say resembling were jaguars. These masks have been found in ritual caches, never meant to be worn. Instead, they were offerings, buried to open communication between the world above and the world below. Their serene faces may have symbolized the primordial ancestors, the first humans, the children of gods and beasts. In contrast, the Maya created masks for death, drama, and divinity. Funerary masks, such as the jade mosaic mask of King Pakal in Palenque, transformed kings into gods. Jade, green like new corn and rain-washed leaves, was a symbol of life and regeneration. The dead didn't vanish. They were reborn into divine realms, and the mask was their passport. These weren't just mortuary ornaments, they were identities preserved in stone. Now imagine walking into a sacred plaza. A priest approaches, not in robes, but bare-chested, skin painted with brilliant crimson stripes and dotted with black spirals. In ancient America, face paint was a visual language of power, status, and cosmology. The plains cultures, such as the Crow, Cheyenne, and Lakota, used paint to prepare warriors for battle. But paint was more than camouflage or bravado. It invoked spiritual forces. Colors had meaning. Red symbolized life, war, and the East, where the sun is born. Black could signify strength, but also the void and spiritual power. Yellow represented the sun, knowledge, or death. White was purity, mourning, or ancestral presence. The combinations weren't random. They were invocations. Among the Pueblo peoples, face paint during the Kachina dances was carefully patterned to represent cloud beings, rain spirits, and ancestral guides. A single zigzag line might represent lightning, a painted dot, a raindrop. These designs aligned the wearer with celestial forces. In the Amazon, tribes like the Kayapo used jenipapo fruit to dye the skin black, and urucum seed for vivid red. Designs varied depending on age, gender, clan, and occasion. A warrior returning from a hunt might wear a distinct chevron across his cheeks, while a woman preparing for a fertility rite might have concentric rings symbolizing the womb. Paint marked not just status, but the moment in time, a temporary spiritual alignment with seasons, events, and ancestral spirits. Let's travel across the ancient Americas to examine some of the most remarkable mask traditions. In the Arctic North, the Inuit carved driftwood and bone masks, often with exaggerated asymmetrical features. Some represented animal spirits, others distorted human faces, meant to reflect the surreal nature of dreams or the spirit world. Shamans would don these in trance ceremonies, speaking with ancestors or guiding souls of the sick. To the south, in ancient Peru, the Moche civilization created expressive burial masks, often made of gold alloy, sometimes inlaid with lapis lazuli and turquoise. Some masks had feline features, sharp fangs, or scowling visages, meant to intimidate spirits or assert cosmic authority. Funerary masks weren't passive. They were active guardians for the journey beyond. In the Caribbean, the Taino carved zimi figures and mask-like faces from wood and stone. These zimis were both idols and intermediaries, representing ancestral spirits or nature forces. Worn during ceremonies or embedded into sacred caves, these masks weren't just seen, they were worshipped. In the American Southeast, Mississippian culture, centered around Cahokia, produced shell gorgets and engraved copper plates with human faces, raptors, and weeping eye motifs. While not always masks in the literal sense, these facial images appeared on headdresses and ceremonial gear, perhaps channeling mythic beings like the Birdman, a liminal figure between human and divine. Ancient American cultures often embraced fluid concepts of gender, and masks were essential tools for transcending biological identity. Among the Zuni and Hopi, some masked dancers performed as two-spirit individuals, those who embodied both male and female qualities, seen not as outcasts, but as spiritually gifted. In Maya murals and pottery, ritual performances sometimes feature figures dressed in elaborate female regalia, gods or humans adopting roles of fertility deities regardless of gender. This wasn't play, it was sacred embodiment. Wearing a mask allowed one to cross thresholds between man and woman, mortal and divine, now and the ancient past. Among the Yanomami of Brazil and Venezuela, initiation rituals for boys involved wearing masks and enduring ordeals meant to symbolically kill the child self and give birth to the adult self, sometimes under the symbolic protection of ancestral grandmothers, represented through exaggerated female masks. To mask oneself was to transcend the limits of a single identity. It allowed access to ancestral knowledge, healing powers, or divine voice. In this way, identity was not binary. It was sacred, and shape-shifting was seen as a gift. The use of masks and face paint wasn't just spiritual, it was political and militaristic. Among the Aztec, warriors of elite orders, like the Jaguar and Eagle Knights, wore fearsome animal-themed helmets and masks, carved from wood and decorated with feathers, obsidian, and gold. These weren't just decorative, they marked rank and invoked divine power during combat. Before battle, Aztec warriors painted their faces with obsidian ink, often in patterns tied to their patron gods. A red stripe for Huitzilopochtli, the war god, a blue mask for Tlaloc, the rainbringer. War was ritual, each strike a divine offering. In the Mississippian world, engraved copper plates from the Etowah mounds show warriors in headdresses and face paint, holding ceremonial weapons, their eyes wide and intense. These weren't just depictions of battle, they were icons of spiritual warfare, where identity and power were indistinguishable. Even in North America's Southwest, among the Apache, war paint was combined with spiritual preparation, smearing clay on the face, offering prayers, invoking strength. The paint wasn't about hiding. It was about revealing the true self under pressure. Now, let's explore the ingredients themselves. In ancient America, pigments were not just colors. They were sacred substances. Red ochre, found across the Americas, was one of the oldest pigments used in burial rituals dating back 10,000 years. It symbolized life force, blood, and renewal. Some burial sites in Florida and the Great Lakes region show entire bodies painted in red, as if returned to the womb of the earth. Genipapo, the fruit that dyed skin black, was used in the Amazon to mark adulthood and spiritual readiness. Urucum, the red dye of the Kayapo, was believed to protect from evil spirits as well as insects. Its bright hue linked to the sun and fire. The Maya mixed indigo with palygorskite clay to create Maya blue, an extraordinarily durable paint used in murals and human sacrifice rituals. This color was considered sacred, linking sky, water, and the gods. Masks used jade, turquoise, obsidian, feathers of macaws and quetzals, and even human bone or teeth. These materials carried meaning. Obsidian, used in mirrors and blades, was seen as a portal to the underworld. Feathers were sky and breath. Every mask was a layered text of meaning, read through touch, wear, and ritual. The story of masks doesn't end in the past. In places like Guatemala, the Maya tradition of mask drama continues in the Rabanalachi, a ceremonial performance that has survived for centuries. Wooden masks representing lords, warriors, and spirit animals are worn to retell mytho-historical battles, merging history with myth. In the Hopi snake dance, masked dancers channel Kachina spirits who bring rain. In Bolivia, descendants of the Tiwanaku wear traditional masks during Andean festivals to remember ancestors and renew the earth. The mask is a living archive. It holds story, power, and presence. It carries time. Not just the past, but the seasonal cycles, the ancestral voices, the spiritual identities waiting to be remembered. So, what is a mask in ancient America? It is not a disguise. It is a doorway. It is not a face. It is a force. Masks and face paint allowed people to become more than themselves, gods, beasts, ancestors, stars. They marked the sacred from the ordinary, the living from the dead, the eternal from the momentary. And in doing so, they told stories that still echo today. Thank you for joining us on Untold Secrets of Ancient America. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and help us bring these forgotten identities back into the light. Until next time, remember, behind every painted face lies a deeper truth.